Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Dungeons & Dragons, and we're going to talk about Disney Lorcana, my field report for Disney Lorcana, Season 1, Episode 1, and this time, I promise you, I'm going to tell you the story of what happened in the session. All right. Player chooses player character Lilo. I give them Stitch as a second player character. Player is playing Lilo and Stitch. The story starts on Kauai, Hawaii. There's a natural disaster. And this is 2 months after the end of the Lilo and Stitch film. At this point, Lilo and Stitch and Jukuba and Pleakley are living very well with Nani and David. Okay. And two months later, there's a natural disaster on Hawaii. And at that moment, Lilo and Stitch immediately want to find Nani and David, but they're separated from Nani and David. Rafiki appears. Rafiki explains to Lilo that he is an illumination. He is an agent of the Illumineers, and that he wishes to help Lilo immediately find Nani and David. However, his ability to do that is only what the Illumineers will give him. And the Illumineers need help with an adventure, with a quest on another world that Lilo is not on. Rafiki apologizes for asking Lilo to help him, but he says, the reason why I'm going to ask you to help me is I believe you are specially protected because of Agent 626 Stitch. And this quest is to save a group of children. And Rafiki explains that he has already sent Cinderella to save this group of children, and she was able to do everything to save them, but the children would not go with her because they didn't trust her, right? So Rafiki explains, I need you to go on this quest for me. If you do, no time will be lost. You'll be returned to this world of Ohana, your world here in Kauai, Hawaii, after you complete the quest, and I will immediately be able to reconnect you with Nani and David using the power of the Illumineers. The player accepts the quest. Then Rafiki explains what the quest is. He explains that Captain Hook has captured all the Lost Boys on his ship. This happening, Captain Hook capturing all the Lost Boys on his ship, is not really something that would need otherworld help normally. The reason why it needs otherworld help is Captain Hook has not only been able to defeat Peter Pan, but Peter Pan is nowhere to be found, right? And so Rafiki already sent Cinderella, and she saved the Lost Boys, but the Lost Boys wouldn't go with her. So the Lost Boys are exactly where they were. They're on Captain Hook's ship, captive, right? And Rafiki believes that if Lilo goes, the Lost Boys will go with her and leave the ship once they're rescued, because they trust Lilo, because Lilo is a child just like them, right? At that point, Rafiki opens a portal from Ohana, Lilo and Stitch's world, to Neverland. They are put in the area of the forest at nighttime where Tiger Lily's community normally lives and where the Lost Boys lived, right? But none of them are there, and the entire place is abandoned, except Lilo and Stitch are, kind of like wandering around the forest, and they find Tinkerbell. Tinkerbell leads them to a rowboat. They take the rowboat all the way out to Captain Hook's ship. When they get there, there's a storm that they have to go through to get to Captain Hook's ship. They abandon the rowboat, and Lilo and Stitch each put one foot in a bailing bucket, and then they tie that to 3 feet of rope, and then they tie that to an anchor, all of which Tinkerbell lifts up into the air with her magic, and is actually able to move them from the rowboat, which is destroyed in the storm, and dump them off on the very back of Captain Hook's ship, where they are now right at the window of Captain Hook's stateroom. They then solve the mystery of why Peter Pan is no longer there and was so easily defeated by Captain Hook. Captain Hook could never defeat Peter Pan by himself. Peter Pan had beaten Captain Hook 100 times, right? Rescued the Lost Boys, foiled Captain Hook's plans. The reason he couldn't this time is Captain Hook is in his stateroom planning evil deeds with Dr. Facilier from Tiana's world, right? And so this is the part where Lorcana is in the mix. The Disney worlds are mixing, and villains between Disney worlds are beginning to combine. And when they combine, they can defeat heroes that they normally could never defeat, right? So Lilo solves the mystery of why Peter Pan was so easily defeated by Captain Hook, because he's in league with Dr. Facilier from Tiana's world. And then at that point, though, I asked the player character what they wanted to do. They had Stitch smash through the window and immediately attack Captain Hook and Dr. Facilier. And Lilo jumped out with her ray gun. There's a Lorcana card where she has a space chute and a ray gun. And they engage Dr. Facilier and Captain Hook in combat. And what ends up happening is Lilo shoots Captain Hook, which takes about 75% of his health. Then Captain Hook actually attacks Lilo but misses. Dr. Facilier uses his magic to blow out the entire back of the boat. So the room they're in, the stateroom, well lit, is now completely open to the storm and completely open to the ocean, right? Then Captain Hook attacks Lilo and cuts her, right, with his hook. It takes about half of her hit points. And then finally, Lilo kicks Captain Hook off the edge of the ship, and the crocodile with the clock in his belly attacks Captain Hook. Captain Hook is completely off the board. Now Lilo and Stitch turn to face Dr. Facilier. Dr. Facilier says, "I'll fight you in the next world," and then immediately portals back to the Tiana world without them. At that point, Lilo helps. Actually, Lilo and Stitch encounter Mr. Smee, and without Captain Hook, the crew does not have the wherewithal to stop them, and they're able to save the Lost Boys. Then Lilo has a decision. Does she take the Lost Boys back to where Tiger Lily used to live but is now gone, right, in an abandoned section of the forest, or does she take them to Kauai, Hawaii? And that's what she does. She uses like a portal stone that was given to her by Rafiki to take herself and all the Lost Boys back to Kauai, Hawaii, and Lilo is already linked up with someone who knows how to deal with orphans, which is Cobra Bubbles, and also just as he promised, Rafiki immediately unites Lilo and Stitch with Nani and David and Pleakley and Jukaba and the guy on the beach who always used too much suntan lotion. And that is the full story report for Season 1, Episode 1 of Dungeons & Dragons Disney Lorcana. I want to say thank you very much for letting me give you these field reports. I'm so excited about these campaigns. I'm extremely excited to be starting 2024 with an extremely exciting, unique Dungeons & Dragons campaign. And I'm really excited to be exploring the Disney Lorcana world more thoroughly. Every single word you just heard is my field report to you on my Dungeons & Dragons Disney Lorcana campaign. Are you running anything unique with Dungeons & Dragons? What are you doing with the Disney Lorcana cards you have? Are you getting more Disney Lorcana? I'd love to hear everything you have to say about Dungeons & Dragons and Disney Lorcana and your current campaigns. Thank you very much.